Welcome everyone to the Toku Portal podcast. It's me Zero here with
Did it a decade?
And Rai, and today we're talking about Kamen Rider Build, episode 39. Picking up right where we left off last week, Utsumi henshins into Kamen Rider Mad Rogue. Gentoku is shocked that Utsumi betrayed them. We'll discuss more about why that is later. Uh, but it seems like Utsumi really just cares about science and like being a scientist. So after Utsumi beats up the heroes a little bit, Kazumi shows up because he got worried and helps everyone escape. I'm glad that that's what they were saving Kazumi for. It just says some stuff about his character that like, no, I can't bring myself to try and work with Namba. And then later like, well, I couldn't just leave you guys here and oh wow, okay, let's go.
Yeah, it was satisfying to watch Utsumi kick some ass, even though Gentoku wasn't trying too hard. But holy crap, that finisher! They went all out for that one. That was beautiful.
Zero?
sorry, I was just fixing some audio stuff. Yeah, it was a interesting fight to be honest. Like Utsumi, his actor is still having a problem being this like over the top. Um, like I mean, I thought he kind of had a little better handle on it in the like intro like comedy bit, but then like at points in the episode he seems to do okay, but then like it hits like, oh, do the yell or the other stuff and he just can't do it. And so like yeah, he's struggling a little. As for like the fight and stuff, that was okay. I mean like this form's okay, but it just kind of runs into like the build problem of like your new form is great for that one episode it shows up in, because the next episode it's going to get countered, which kind of sucks. But otherwise, this episode was pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, if Utsumi gets taken out next episode, then Utsumi just becomes another like kind of pointless character that got too much screen time, which will be just another kind of disappointment thing on how some of the characters are handled this season.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, that is true. But Utsumi kind of reminds me of, oh, we've hit like basically the end of the series, and now we're throwing down. Oh no, this character was actually supposed to be a parallel or like a foil to like the main hero this whole time. And I'm like, it's a little late to reveal that, but like, I mean, it's done well in this episode. But what it reminds me of is like Gremlin and Wizard. I mean, like Wizard, you kind of need a second watch to see like how much parallel they're doing until like Gremlin says that and reveals that near the end, and that kind of a little hokey. Whereas this explains why like they kept Katsuragi came back and then they kept Utsumi around. Or maybe they just kept them around and they just thought of like, oh shit, we could just do this interesting parallel with the characters now. And like the stuff with like Katsuragi and Utsumi is really interesting this episode. It just kind of cuts to the problem of like, why the fuck isn't this your main bad guy instead of Evolt? Because like literally Evolt is the villain of the show, not because he's a villain Kamen Rider. It's because he's the guy who brings up plot holes and then goes, no, don't worry about it. Just move on. Like he does that at this episode. And I'm like, I hate you more because you did that than all the shit you've just pulled.
We're gonna get to that. Uh, but first, back at the lab, Takumi wonders why Evolt is trying to rule the Earth rather than destroy it, like he did with Mars, and who knows how many other planets. We don't. He probably has been doing this for a while. Banjo has another memory flash, which still, like, it looks like he's getting two memories, one from Evolt's point of view and from someone else's point of view. So I'm really curious as to what's going on there. And then he leaves the room to think on it. To which Takumi goes, "Oh, thank God," because he still sees him as an enemy that could awaken as pretty much another Evolt. Which, at this point, I just don't quite get it. Like, sure, you had reason not to trust him before, but at this point, why? How has no one explained, or like, why doesn't he get that? Like, no, Banjo isn't going to awaken as Evolt, or is he just overly cautious?
I guess because technically he has some evil genes, and he's pretty much using an evil bottle for his base form. So, I mean, he's not totally wrong. But yeah, just the whole flashback thing, I think it's a good setup because the plot was getting kind of linear there with the evil power up scheme. So now we're getting some more layers back, and I like that.
Yeah, like the flashbacks were handled pretty well this episode. Like this episode has this weird thing. It's like maybe did they bring on like a first time director or something? Like there's a lot of funky shots. Like they're not bad, but they're not standard. Like there's a lot of like POV. Like one fight has shaky cam, and then like there's the weirdo like cut in with like actual monkey gags, and it just bleeds in as like what the fuck is going on? Like it clearly feels like either they're just like going like okay it's the end of the show, nobody cares, we can just experiment with different stuff, or it's like a first time director and they're like all right kid, like just go direct, like here's one episode you can direct, you know, show us what you can do. And he's just kind of like he hasn't like solidified his style yet, so he has like he just threw in all these like different things. Like some of them work, some of them didn't. Like I'm not a fan of the like cartoon cut-ins added on top, like affecting the real world. Like that didn't really work. Like some of the other stuff was kind of interesting. Um, yeah, it was hit or miss. But as for like the flashback, that's interesting. I think what's happening is like, okay, first like Evolve lands in the fucking desert, basically, or like outside the city or whatever.
Somewhere on Mars.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a mirror. I'm like, who tossed this out in the middle?
Wait. He
Um,
looks into a mirror?
yeah, he looks into a mirror.
Oh, wait, was that the perspective that I thought was from someone else? Did I get that
I
wrong?
I think so. Like
Oh.
my other thought is like if we're getting a perspective of somebody else, it might be Bernage, because Bernage did seal the box and Banjo's body was in the box. So maybe he got some of her memories mixed in with him.
No, I don't think Bonjo was in the box. Uh,
No, no, he was because that's the set of genes that like
no,
went into his mom.
no. I think that what was in the box was the evil trigger. Maybe?
Yeah, I know, but Bernage used like all of her power to seal the box and
Right.
then like wipe it,
But I don't think
right?
it
But
was
then like
like the
she
part of
like
Bonjo
like
that
no
was
no no
sealed in the
because she
box.
still wound up on Earth through the bracelet, and therefore she must have been in the box as well. Like Banjo's genes and her like a little bit of her power must have been inside the box because Misora got her power and then like Banjo, you know, went into like Banjo's mom and then like possessed the kid
No, like I
and then
don't think that was the part of Bonjo that I don't think part of the part that is Bonjo was in the box because how did he get it out?
no, I mean like because both of them were like because Bernage and Evolt both trapped a little bit of power of themselves in Pandora's box, and because Banjo is like Evolt that was inside the box that possessed, you know, like Banjo's mom. or like kid Banjo, baby Banjo, whatever. Like maybe there was like a fusion of their memories, and that's why like it could be the two angles. Whatever, who knows? Um, like potentially we might be leading up to that, or who knows, man. But yeah, it was interesting. Like, I think it was just like Evolve sees himself in a mirror, but I'm like, why the fuck is there a mirror in the middle of the desert, basically?
Yeah, that's a little weird. But I guess it would make more sense if he was just looking in a mirror, so that it fits in with the idea of like, oh, is he awakening as Evolt? Which doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess like overuse of that particular bottle, maybe, if that's the argument you want to make.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what's going on is because that was like full Evolve fused and like his full power is basically that bottle kind of. Because like the Cobra one or the Stark one is just like not full Evolve, right? And then the one Banjo, the dragon one, is like stage 2 when Evolve's fully fused. So I think it has more of like his memories and stuff. Um, as for why Katsuragi like doesn't trust like Banjo, I'm like, yeah, one, he's like he could think it's potentially like all right, there's like three reasons. One is like he thinks, oh, Evolve might wake up again, like he did. Two, it's like Katsuragi doesn't trust people right now because like he feels betrayed by everyone, kind of. And three is like Katsuragi's dad was researching Banjo, and like Stark killed his dad, and like Katsuragi figured it out and all that shit, and he was going to take out both Banjo and Stark like as revenge, but then like Stark took him out first. So I think it's just like, yeah, like I still don't trust you. Like it could be like you're a danger to humanity, or it's like you killed my father. Prepare to die. Um, sorry.
You okay? Zero?
I think I'll be fine.
Sorry. Just coughing fit randomly.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Keep going.
Alright. Um, so, Evold explains to Utsumi that he gave him an evil driver to help him capture the other Kamen Riders alive because he still has a use for them. Probably some kind of like, I need their power thing. Whatever. Uh, Utsumi questions why there even is a second evil driver, like we were doing last week, but Evil just tells him to shut up. So, yeah, great. Thanks, Evolt, for, providing us with exposition the one time we actually want it. Uh, so, do we just want to speculate on why there's a second evil driver? Because it's clearly not my theory about it just being a prototype.
Who knows? I mean, they didn't even explain how the other bottles in the other countries were purified, so I mean, I'm sure they're going to explain this one, but that was a problem I had earlier on. Uh, but yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Zero? Zero's not here right now, so we'll get back to this. Gentoku wakes up and he basically blames himself for Utsumi snapping and going mad. With using him and then making him a scapegoat and then shooting him off a bridge. And he deeply regrets all of it. Which makes sense because he's no longer being influenced by the nebula gas. It's nice to show that like the real Gentoku is actually just a sincere guy.
Yeah, and his actor is amazing as always. It's just painful to watch him be so desperate to atone for his crimes. It was really good, and it also is pretty entertaining watching Katsuragi interact with the team.
Sento finishes his newest power up item, Genius Bottle, so he can defeat Evolt and Banjo. Misora tries pleading with him that Banjo isn't the enemy. She tries telling him that like he should trust his allies more. That Sento trusted his allies. And Takumi just feels too betrayed. I said Sento finished a new power up item, I just realized. It's Takumi right now. Takumi basically feels too betrayed by Gentoku to trust anyone anymore. Which makes sense. He did kind of use his tools to start an entire war. Decade?
Uh, yeah, it kind of spoke for itself. I don't have much to say on that.
Yeah. Misora is continues to be one of the best actresses on the show, and their heart to hearts are still some of the best moments. Like, what else is there to say, really? Um, oh, Zero back? Zero, you're back.
Yeah, sorry.
So,
Just got back.
do you have
So,
any theories on why there's a second evil driver?
I mean, I have like put two. One is maybe it's something to do with the movie. I'm not sure. Um, and two is maybe time travel nonsense. Like either it's from the past or from the future. I don't know. So again, probably from the movie. But that's the best I got.
Okay. Do you have anything on Gentoku blaming himself for Utsumi snapping and how he deeply regrets it?
Um, my thoughts on that are like, yes, it's like I understand his regret because he's just like living. Like Utsumi is just a reminder of like all the bad shit he's done. I'm not a fan of how they did it this episode. Like he's so like hobbling and like, oh my god, like I fucked up. Like this is clearly it. This with the directing of like the shots this episode, I'm like, oh, okay, this is like so soap opera ish and kind of amateur. It seems like it's a first time director potentially, so it's like it's too overly dramatic of being sad. Like I don't hate the moment. I just hate how this episode does it, where it's like he's so like broken up, and he's so like he could be that broken up. It's just I don't feel like Gentoku would show it like that. You know, like at this point, like it doesn't feel like his character is that like open of a person, and you can say, well, he's broken. I'm like, he lost like one fight. You know, like I don't feel like Gentoku would react this dramatically. Like everything that happened this episode would still happen. Like you would feel bad. Like it should have been like him realizing, oh, this is all my fault, kind of thing, and then wishing to do good. But like the way he's basically ready to bawl his eyes out because he fucked up, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't seem like what he would do.
And anything on Takumi and Misora's conversation about how Takumi doesn't trust his allies, and Takumi still feels betrayed by Gentoku.
I mean yeah, that was a good moment. Like anything with um Katsuragi is pretty good. Like basically throughout the show. And so like him and Gentoku having that moment of like I feel betrayed and all this shit, and it's like was it really Gentoku's fault or was it like my hubris or like myself? Like I should have seen this coming, I didn't, and he's kind of in denial and he's just blaming Gentoku. Like anything like that, like was really well done. Um, as for like, I mean, to be honest, he just pretty much woke up, so like he hasn't experienced the show. Pretty much to him, the last thing he did was he tried to kill Evil, and then he wipes. I mean, then he like faints pretty much, and then he wakes up with, "Oh yeah, the war happened. Most of the country's fucked. Evol's ready to destroy the world. Gentoku kind of helped bring this along. Like it kind of makes sense where like how he reacts. Like he's not ready to trust anyone or anything." And he's just like, I'm just gonna trust science because, like, that's at least like one thing I know won't change pretty much. So like yeah, his moments were really well done.
And I was saying that like Mizora and Sento's moments, heart to hearts, are some of the best in this series, and this is also just on par with that. So while Banjo is off thinking by himself, Kazumi runs up and attacks him out of nowhere to train because Banjo won't take it seriously otherwise. And then they have a little chat. Kazumi mentions that Takumi still wants to defeat him, but he doesn't want to. And then Banjo, for a moment, says that if he does lose control, it's okay. Then tries to pass it off as a joke. And then they mourn Sento a bit more. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Banjo wasn't kidding and then just tried to pass it off as a joke so that it wouldn't sound so morbid.
Yeah, not much to say, but the bromance was definitely more subtle than the Gentoku stuff. So yeah, I did like it a lot.
What is going on with my Discord? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the bromance was super real this episode. I mean, to be fair, like, yeah, it was shot a little cheesily, but the sentiment was there. Also, you pretty much have like the actors with like the most range, have an acting scene, so of course they're gonna show it. Like, I mean, like Sento and Gentoku are good, but like if we have to go by previous work, it's like it's fucking Otoya and Jesus, I don't remember his name from Amazon season 2. Like Banjo can really act. So like if you just give them stuff like this where it's like, oh, I might have potentially fucked up or like shit's gone downhill, and I'm trying to hide it and all that shit. And it's like these two actors are really good at doing that because we have proof because I've already done it in different writer shows. So yeah, that was really well done.
Alright, final stretch of the episode. Utsumi launches an attack on Toto. Gentoku tries to go, but he's too injured, and Takumi sees the regret in him and his desperation to want to fix his mistakes. The other riders show up to fight Utsumi. Uh, Utsumi and Takumi have a nice little chat about science and development as Utsumi tries to convince Takumi that, like, yeah, science for the sake of progress is good, doesn't matter if it's destructive or not. Takumi tries to use his new power up item, but it doesn't work. Banjo then comes in and saves him, telling him that he lacks the emotions of helping and wanting to help and wanting to protect others. Takumi has an internal conversation with Sento, and then gives way for him to take control again. Sento henshins into Build's final form, Genius. Episode end. This whole like hero motivation speech at the end here was done really well. Especially Takumi's talk with Sento, which I never thought we would actually get. And then it just feels so good for Sento to be back. His confidence, his smug smile. This was also a really beautiful henshin sequence. Just the way like the lab comes up and he's standing on a platform.
Yeah, and I loved the freaking true ending callback in the when Katsuragi henshins and he goes into the explanation of Build. That was pretty awesome. For those of you who haven't seen or don't remember, that's pretty much what he says right before he beats up Parado and steals Exade's essence. So that was cool. And yeah, that mid-fight dialogue was way better than anything Sento and Evolt have been going through. Like, this actually had a lot of weight and it felt more relatable, I guess. It was really good, despite Utsumi's over the top crazy person acting.
Yeah, I agree. Katsuragi and Utsumi is like little chat. I mean, their fight was really well done. Yeah. Evolt and Sento's stuff is like okay, but like, why couldn't this be the villain? You know, in Hero Dynamic, it's so much more interesting. Um, as for how like Hatsuragi basically makes a damn henshin thing. Okay, first of all, like he can now use rabbit form, and I kind of like how when he henshin, it's just like he's just standing on the ground,
Oh, I
and
forgot
like
to
the
mention
parts,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
like he's not jumping around.
that was so good.
Yeah. Um, the problem with that then becomes is like, oh, you were able to hack a previous form not even made by you, and now you're trying to henshin into a form you personally made, and you can't use it because what? You tried to form Captain Planet without heart,
Hey,
and I
Heart
was like,
wasn't
that.
originally part of that show.
Yes, I know. That's why I made that reference. Um, that was really stupid and cheesy, and I wasn't a fan of that. But when Katsuragi and Sento have their like little talk inside, like I guess their own heads or whatever, um, that was really well done. And then Sento comes back and he's like a cocky little shit. I know it's more of like a throwback to how he was, but I'm like, okay, I get what you're going for. It's because like, oh, he's been gone a couple episodes. People miss him. For personally, I'm like, whatever, man. Like, you're only here because you're the main guy. I kind of wanted to see Katsuragi actually win a fight, but it's fine that you're back. As for that henshin, it was okay. Yeah, I did like the whole catchphrase that Katsuragi did when he henshin. That was cool.
Uh, Very reminiscent of early series Sento. It just feels like something he would say. Maybe he did say, and I don't remember very well. It's that was like a year ago, okay?
I mean, it might be from the crossover. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Like what he says when he shows up for the crossover and is beating up like Genom, but I don't remember. It's been a long time.
All right. So final thoughts on the episode. I enjoyed most parts of this episode. Just a couple of slow moments that really won't be meaningful until later when we get some more about them. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm looking forward to seeing this form in action. I'm kind of on the fence with it. Obviously, the henshin was beautiful, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah. I thought this was a really good episode. Um, I mean, a little wonky with the camera angles and stuff, but other than that, it was pretty solid. I mean, and the freaking monkeys getting tossed in constantly, that was kind of annoying. But other than that, like mostly solid. Like it still seems like this is the opposite. Okay, yeah, this is the opposite problem of Zero Dragon Blood, uh, like the Garo mini series thing where we cast no, Alice, and then like early on she's weird and like she gets better later on. Whereas here it's like Utsumi, it's like we cast him for the early stuff, but we then kept this character around, and now this is like super weird shit that the actor like did not either expect or has like no experience for. So like he's kind of struggling with it, or a lot. Um, but other than that, like it was pretty solid. Okay, like one weird thing, like Utsumi looks pretty awesome in his like black and red outfit, but then he like shows up and when the invasion's going on for like the PM's residence, I'm like, one, who the fuck is the PM? Because like Gentoku's dad's dead, Gentoku's not there, right? Two, you show up and you're not in rider form, so I'm like, you're invading another country, right? You've declared war. If somebody sniped you, they would totally be in the right. You know, this fucking, oh, look at me, I'm super evil and I'm invading your base shit. In like human form, standing there laughing, like one sniper bullet, and this whole story changes. Um, yeah, that was a little weird. I mean, we did kind of see that, like, he's more, I guess, okay with going with Evolve because Stark saved him. You know, that was something. Um, Sawa had kind of a little moment. I thought she was gonna get more story, but I guess she only gets like a couple lines. I guess it was okay. I mean, I guess basically Namba's gone, so like we're not even gonna waste time with the Namba children anymore. Whatever. But other than that, like solid episode. Like at least eight. Yeah, I'd say 8 out of 10.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday with more Lupin Ranger versus Pot Ranger, and next Wednesday for more Kamen Rider Build. See you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Zero.
Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Discord. Like I'm unmuting and it takes like 10 seconds or something. Okay, maybe not that long. Um, sorry. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope you're enjoying Build. The show's picking up. Hope this podcast wasn't too terrible, even with like my coughing and audio nonsense. Um, yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Also, I liked the monkeys.